Darn it. Okay. I'm not sure you can hear this in the moment, but I'm trying to do a little bit of tech stuff on the go. Okay, there's my camera. Camera's back. I don't know if sound's coming through the game yet. But let's see. Okay, sound's coming through my computer. Why is it not? I'm gonna do this. I have to figure out why my sound's not coming. I don't know if the audio is playing through. Don't need anything in that one for sure. I'm afraid this is feeding through the hope this isn't feeding through my computer. I don't know. Normally this is playing. I have a screen in front of me that I look at in order to kind of keep track of this sort of stuff. It also looks different on a computer than it does on. Am I in nighttime mode or something? Not plugged in. Let's see if the Pokelink's working. That's weird. Okay, there we go. That looks a little better. Okay, for some reason it's not ringing Bunny right now. I don't know why. Also, I don't know why my thing's chugging because literally I just restarted my computer, so all of my settings on my computer are like newly done, and it's weird. I'm messing with the setting a little bit more before we get started here anyway. But I literally just update my computer, so there's literally nothing else running on my computer right now besides this emulator and Streamlabs. And it's still having some issues, which is a little annoying, not gonna lie. Just give me a second. I'm trying to figure out my thing. From a Pokélink to get. I don't know why I cannot see Bunny. It's really weird. Showing her up last week. For some reason, when I put her in the. Yeah. If I put her in the lead slot, for some reason it makes her disappear. I'm not sure why that is. Strange. I'm just gonna mess with this for another minute or two and then we'll just get started. Yeah, Melanie did tell me last time mess with your stuff before you go live, but the problem is for some reason whenever I use Streamlabs, for some reason it will be working perfectly fine. I'll hit go live, and for some reason that's when like my emulator will crash. Or just go and give me like a white screen. The Pokélink won't be working. Like, I don't intend to do tech things on stream. It just seems to happen because it does. It's great. Anyway, I've been kind of out for a little bit. I didn't quite get to streaming on Tuesday like I normally do. I recently just started my next class for my my grad school program I'm in. And this thing is just kind of chugging right now, and I don't know why. There's literally no other programs running. I don't have Chrome open or anything else. I don't know why it's running like this. My dad said he was going to help me, like, figure out why it's running like this, but he had to suddenly get called out to Erie, so can't help me with that anything, unfortunately. But yeah. Anyway, so we're here on Wednesday instead to do to work on the Nuzlocke again. I was feeling, you know, I had stuff to do yesterday and I was just generally tired, but now we're gonna get here. Try to remember what the heck I was doing in this. Just arrived in the city, so we're gonna try and get through here, maybe go through the city and the gym would be nice. Yeah, Elisa had just helped us get across the bridge. We had met with Alder, sharing a life crisis. I'm less happy towards him since he, like, murdered my team. But anyway, Clay's the gym leader here. He's the guy in the cowboy hat. I like the fact that, because they're like, oh, well, if we're gonna do a US-themed region, then we certainly need to have a guy with a cowboy hat, because what's more American than a cowboy hat? And a businessman at that. So we lowered that bridge, the plastic guys we caught, done skipped it on purpose. I like that Sharon's like, oh, what a bother. He's like, this is funny. We're like literally being late to this town, and Sharon's just like being so sassy. You can see. You all showed up and Team Plasma escaped. I like the fact that we literally walked 2 steps into the town, and he's like, this is all you guys' fault, and Sharon's just like, instead of taking it, is like, no, it's not. You person who is supposed to be the adult in this situation, we're just like 15. It may use a little heavy, but I started looking for Team Plasma too. Yeah, and I went on a very nice Ferris wheel date. And now he's literally just conscripted us essentially as bounty hunters to go and find Team Plasma. And then we can challenge the gym. Alright, well, I guess we're gonna go hunt terrorists then, I guess. Well, the ones that are more like that are actually the other evil teams. Team Plasma is just like overly zealous activists, which, you know, could also technically be considered terrorists in, you know, Pokemon sense because they got the legendaries and stuff. Anyway, so I've been working the last 3 days in the preschool. Like, I normally work there on Monday, but well, I do childcare on Tuesday like I typically do. What's our battle combo move are we talking about? Oh yeah. Pretty sure Fireplace is a special move, which isn't going to do him squat. Yeah. No, you're a physical attacker, Hamilton. That's not a bad move to use if you know you have a special attacker, but Hamilton's a physical attacker, so he has no use of getting a special fire move. You have anything interesting? But this is also why I'm telling you, you gotta go and talk to people. Because otherwise you don't, you never know when you're gonna find a random item or something. Anyway. Also, again, people complain about, like, you know, things about, like, oh, like, Claire doesn't give you the badge, and that's something that people remember. I'm like, Clay literally won't let you challenge his gym until you go and deal a problem that he has, that has really nothing to do with you. I don't know. Yeah. I do know about rotation battles. They're a type of battle that literally only exists within this one game. Maybe just because you would expect being a 3-on-3 battle would make more sense, but the thing about rotation battles is that it really isn't a 3-on-3, it's really a 1-on-1 that can just shift to and from. So it's why it's kind of a hard battle style to understand. So I'm not surprised it didn't last long. But hey, I get it. Unova was kind of being a soft reboot. It was trying to do what Hoenn had done with, like, introducing double battles, which then became very popular, and then tried to do rotation battles. The problem was that there wasn't really a lot of unique moves or unique Pokemon to kind of really feed into that particular... I'm like, you literally have a bunch of bikers walking around, and you're saying it's my problem that you have to deal with Team Plasma? Like, there's so many roughnecks in this area that I'm kind of like... Sure, Clay, you really don't have anything else to be doing right now that you could, you know, be managing this. I want to go down that pathway. Cool, Pokeball. Alright. Right now we're just doing basic exploring. I'm pretty sure I know where Team Plasma is, but I'm just exploring right now. I know where this is. Oh, is this the school? Oh, this is the place where you get the past powers, I guess. See, in Black and White, they had a lot of new like connectivity features. So like Entralink was their first attempt at essentially what you can do in like they try to do in Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield. Granted, to less of a good effect, surprisingly, even though the technology is so much older. Entralink, originally for Black and White, was essentially like online multiplayer. Essentially, so your character could go into someone else's world. There's like this little business guy who's like, oh yeah. You can go into his gym until you go catch Team Plasma, and again, I'm like, why is that our fault? We aren't even the ones who, like, requested the bridge to go down. Elisa told him, hey, can you lower the bridge? And he did, because she asked him to. And then as soon as we walk in, he's like, now I'm angry at you guys. I'm like, we didn't even do anything. Get angry at Elisa over this. We didn't do anything into your issues. Okay, is there anyone interesting? This is a market. Let's see what else we can get here. Yeah, better medicines. Which are, you know, good if you want to get your Pokemon's frustration up. Oh, I guess we got an expert belt now. Wonder who we can put that on. What does expert belt do again? Or with the slight boost the power of super effective moves. Also the scope lens. Who do we have in our party's still pretty small right now. Probably put the expert belt on Hamilton because he has the most moves right now that have different types. Some just horrible natures on some of these Pokemon, it's just funny. I can give that to Hamilton, which powers up his moves. Could give the scope lens. I'm not really adding one right now, because I want Emmett to not hold an item so his acrobatics is stronger. I can give the big root to Bunny, so her Giga Drain does more. Or, wait, she has like... What are her moves again? Might be better to give her the Miracle Seed, honestly. She knows Giga Drain, Synthesis, and Remedial Arm. Actually, it might be better to give her the Miracle Seed. It'll boost her grass moves. The Gru would be better, like when I have Firefly and she had, like, you know, Leech Seed as well. I haven't looked through my items in a very long time. Anyway. I don't have anything on Celestia because I just got her. We're gonna get some Moo Moo Milk because they are without a doubt like the best form of healing. They're usually like 100 currency or whatever, and they heal 100 HP, so they're a really good item to have. They're way cheaper in the game, like a bunch of Hyper Potions for sure. Okay, I know where Team Plasma is in here. I was just curious if there's anything more interesting to look at here, but I suppose we should get back to looking for criminals. It's funny, people give Claire a lot of flack for, like, you know, fighting her and then she doesn't give you the gym badge. I'm like, how many gym leaders do you go to that, like, literally aren't in their gyms or, like, refuse to fight you until you, like, fulfill some, condition for them. That reminds me, let me go check the bridge real fast. Just to see if we have any feathers. Because feathers are good for raising stats. I'm just gonna walk across, see if we see any little glowy spots. Yep, like that. Cool, swift wing, we can use that. Because then, you know, even though I'm not going to be really raising stats a lot, because this is a Nuzlocke and anything can die at any given moment, you know, nice to have stuff like that. Pretty wing. Of course I'm going to find pretty wings. Pretty wings literally have no use whatsoever besides selling them, so... There's another one. Genius wing, okay, that's useful. Any other wings? Remember when I first played through this game, I like ran back and forth across this bridge so much looking for those wing items. Because you have like a random chance of running into them. Like I don't know if it resets every day or if it's something that like resets every so often or every time you cross the bridge or something like that. But it's a good thing to have. I saw one back there. Nice. Because I can use these on my Pokemon. Hopefully give them a little bit of a leg up. Nice. Right now I'm looking for speed and attacking ones, so like special or physical attack. And speed because like everything in my team is not terribly fast. I mean, Emmett's pretty fast, all things considered, but like my other teams like are not very fast. Or like Hamilton has a speed nature, but he's also not meant to be a fast Pokemon. So, fun stuff like that. Okay, there's another one. But you got a fair amount of wings, so at least it's something. I'll go off and go find Team Plasma and gotta fight them a bit. And, you know, I think the goal for tonight will be to go and, like, if possible, face Clay. Try and beat him. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. He's a ground type gym leader. So while that is going to be an issue for Hamilton, dang it. It's like, no, I was about to get the feather. I went too far. Anyway, I'm not going back for it. Hamilton obviously is weak to ground type moves, so, you know, have to keep an eye on that. But Emmett, being a flying type, is immune to ground moves. The most you'll have to watch out for is rock type attacks. Bunny is effective against those, so she'll be helpful in that. And then we're just going to try and get Celestia higher leveled in general. I like that you have like these big industrial like cities like this because... Oh. I guess you can fight people in this area. I was inspecting... I didn't realize that, like, this is literally, like, at least in the tall grass, you know, you're walking into an encounter. Sometimes you walk into an area in a city and you're like, oh, I'm fine. And they're like, wait, never mind. Nice. Why is every time I hit something with Poison Point, it poisons me, but I could have Poison Point and it would never do anything. Same thing with Static. I hit so many times by Static in my last area. I'll keep you in. That's just annoying because I gotta go heal stupid poison. Karblast is definitely one of those Pokemon that I forget exists sometimes. Because it's kind of a gimmicky Pokemon. You trade it in a Shelmet and then they evolve into their evolved forms of Excelgor and Escavalier. But like, I remember Shelmet better. For some reason I always forget Karblast existed for a long time. Because like, at least like Shelmet, it like it's little like this little like clam thing that's inside it like a helmet. So it's not hard to remember. But Karblast is one that I'm just like... I don't know. It doesn't look a ton like a Pokemon, it's just very forgettable. I mean, now I know Excelgor and, like, Escavalier because they're, like, you know, they have those units in Pokemon Masters where Emin and Ingo have, like, a, like, butler outfit for, there's, like, this Tea Party event that was based off Alice in Wonderland. And that's their Pokemon in those ones, so they're Bug-type trainers in that case, but that's one thing I can't really remember of them. This thing just chugging away over here. Alright. Again, I'm going to tell my dad. He's just like, he says there's something probably wrong in my settings for why it's chugging like this. But unfortunately, he had to very suddenly leave leave to go help his company out. They had like a major emergency. So he, fortunately, could not look at my stuff before that. Okay. Ooh, Rocky Helmet. Rocky Helmet's good if you pair it up with like a Pokemon that has like some ability that like doesn't mind getting hit. Rocky Helmet's also very good on like a defensive Pokemon. I don't really have anything like that in my team right now, but it's a good item to have. Like back in the days of like when competitive was all about like statuses and entry hazards, and you had things like, you know, back when things like Stone Edge and, you know, spikes and stuff like that were really popular and really important to the metagame. Rocky Helmet was definitely a big one. Rocky Helmet, you can put something on some like Skarmory that doesn't take a lot of damage, and, you know, really punish your opponent for trying to wear it down. Or you can put Rocky Helmet on something that has like already has a damaging thing, like for instance, Garchomp's hidden ability is Rough Skin, which means that you'll take damage every time you physically attack it. Put a Rocky Helmet on that in addition, then you can do extra damage without even going outside your turn. And then add on top of that, like, you know, something like an entry hazard, like Stealth Rock or spikes and stuff like that, and you can do a significant amount of damage to even a bulky Pokemon without doing a single attack. I think we should still be fine to hit Weevil with the acrobatics. He's a lot stronger than these Pokemon because we had to, you know, boost our power so much to get back Sharon. Of course, he has 30. Totally forgot about that. Thankfully, it went for Rock Polish instead. Yeah, Stealth Rock's fine. Not a useful move, not a move to be taken lightly, but considering this is this guy's last Pokemon, and I'm not planning to switch out, that's fine. As long as he's going using something more damaging that could really hurt Emmett. This thing's just chugging right now. Which, again, is crazy because I literally just updated and restarted my computer like twice today. So there's like nothing else running in the background at all. Ooh, I wonder if we can get another encounter in here. This is grass. No, sorry, Pokemon you can catch here, but maybe we'll get another encounter. Oh, a Vanillite. I can try and catch one of those. Question is, who can I hit it with that won't knock it out? I'm gonna try Bunny because she's... Granted, she's weak to ice, but hitting something with ice hopefully won't, you know, hopefully won't hurt her too much. Okay, that's not too bad. Should probably take another hit like this. We just want to hit once. Let's try and get its HP a little lower. That'll work. Screw you, little Vanillite. Anyway. I thought you'd learned Avalanche at a way higher level. Well, now we're definitely going to have to catch this thing. Because we just lost our thing against water types. Oh my gosh, this game is annoying sometimes. I should have just thrown a quick ball. I forgot I had quick balls. I swear, every mistake I've made in this game has been really just me being an idiot. I should have just switched out to Hamilton and thrown quick balls at it. I didn't even think about that. Alright, off to a great start already. It's because I gave her an item, isn't it? I gave her an item and be like, okay, let's try and do this thing efficiently. Too bad it's not a girl. I would name it Dairy Queen. Or just name it Laura after my mom. She was the Dairy Queen. Okay, ice, ice. Little ice whippy dip dude. What do I want to name this guy? If something like Frosty would be too on the nose. What shall I call him? What's the kind of ice cream that Mom really likes? It's like a dilly bar or something like that? I'm trying to think of ice cream themed names I can name him after. Can't remember this dilly bar. There's something like she always gets from Dairy Queen that she like always likes getting. I know she likes like the Mr. Misty's. Could do that. Mr. Misty. That's my mom's favorite drink at Dairy Queen. If it had been another icy wind, Bunny would have been fine. She could have definitely taken a hit like that. I was trying to think of who I could throw in there that would do damage but wouldn't kill it, because Emmett would definitely kill it. Hamilton would definitely kill it. Celestia would probably get killed by it. Trying to like think like what could I use to catch this thing that isn't. Alright. Well, it's got a neutral nature, so I guess that's something. Now I got Vanillite. Taunt, Avalanche. You couldn't have used something like Mist or Taunt that turn. You had to hit with Avalanche. Alright, well, Bunny got us through the fight with Sharon. It's really all that matters. So, you know, salute to her for that. She was not long for this team, but at least got us past that one initial hump with against Sharon. I'll update the death counter when I go and put her back in the box. I figured you were gonna want to fight me. Guessing if you have an ice type, I'll just switch on over into Hamilton. Okay, icy guy, and he has a Pansage. That's your choice. Alrighty. Also, when you lose random Pokemon to things like that, like trying to get like wild Pokemon, can you even really be that upset? It's like it only really hurts to like lose something. First of all, if I've been building it a little bit more, but also if I was like in the middle of something climactic, that was just kind of like a frustrating like, oh well, that's annoying. But to be fair, Bunny was definitely something that I brought into the team as kind of a last-minute clause to continue the run, so technically she kind of cheated being in here in the first place, but still kind of sad. I wanted to... some of these Pokemon that I want to legitimately try and use and see if they'll be any good. She was also the only one that had a good nature. She had a Moz nature, like that's like she's the only one that had a nature that was good for her species. Driftveil music, I know, right? See, I could have caught a Herdier. Anyway. Yeah. Malin was just actually, she plays us jams in the morning to get us going before we have to go to, like, preschool. Good to see you back. But, she was actually playing this song this morning. It's on her, like, her hits playlist. Ready to gift. Give life, right? Mayhaps do Neopets? Mayhaps? It's okay, something... something just died, so, you know. Got so many dead things in here. I was trying to catch something, and then it got hit by Avalanche, which, I mean, honestly, she really probably didn't have a chance of surviving. Avalanche hits for double power if you move second, and that Vanillite did, and she was already at half HP, so yep, that sucks. But at least I did it catching an ice type. Because biggest thing is that, like, again, maybe I should have been a little more cautious with Bunny, considering she's like my main way to deal with ground types, which are going to be the next gym. But what level I should look up? What level does Gothita evolve at? No, it's okay. You didn't show up last time, and like I died significantly, so it's fine. Clearly, this is a cursed run. I make my own bad luck. It's nothing to do with you. Oh, jeez. Checking evolutions. Man, that's so far. Okay, so Vanillite evolves at level 35, Gothita evolves at level 32. So, probably gonna have to do some grinding again. Alrighty then. So, off to a great start. We are now officially about 40 minutes in, and I already had something die to a wild encounter. Off to such a great start. Anyway, so, that sucks. Oh, hey, Sharon. I don't like cool places, but we have to... Sharon's gotten so sassy. And don't dislike him. Do hate the fact that he, like, has nearly killed my team, but... Although, honestly, knowing that the other encounter I could have had potentially for this area was a Herdier, I'm like, well, that's not bad. I would love to try and find a Herdier somewhere along the way, you know, and add it to my team, because I have become very fond of that species before. The other thing I was doing, like, earlier today, me and Matt were looking at, like, they have some new, like, drops for the Pokemon Center. So, like, the first one I saw was, like, I watched their Instagram, so the first one I saw was, like, they had a, Shamanic Dandy. I actually should put a smoke ball on myself. Just to be careful. Maybe because I'm afraid of Herdier's takedowns. Always in the last patch of grass. It's always in the last patch of grass. I'll be fine fighting you in a minute, but let me go deal with Team Plasma first. I will happily come and fight you and kill all your kin, but I need to get to Team Plasma first. Just give me a minute, bro. Alright. Well, we were looking at Pokemon Center, so they have some, like, new plushes out, and, like, the one I saw on Instagram was they have a, everyone remembers I have my Cuddly Friends series. I'm gonna try not to bump the front mic here, but I like cuddly soft things, so like I got like my Cuddly Friend Zora, Sweet Zora. That was my last one I got. Very, very well spent money. But like they have another one for Clodsire, and which is again like there are a couple like Pokemon I think that are ideal for plushies, like, you know, Flareon because it has the big fluffy mane, like the sheep ones like Mary Barulu or stuff like that, the starters obviously, but I have like the one that my alarm's going off to tell me to go take pills, but I'm like, let me put this on. Pause. Anyway, but so I went and got this, and I ordered, it's like a Clodsire, but it'll be like my Comfy Friends ones that are nice and all soft and comforting and stuff like that, because I like to be surrounded by soft things. So I went and bought one of those, but while I was looking on there too, I'm like, oh, I also need to give myself a little like sitting pig night to like commemorate Hamilton. Thanks. He's like, he's testing your abilities, that's why he's having you look into Team Plasma. Like, isn't testing our abilities the whole reason to have the gym trial in the first place? What a bother. You've said like 4 times since we like arrived in town alone. Yep, let's walk around and get hypothermia. Cause, yeah. Everyone loves the ice puzzles. Okay, can't get here yet. That's probably the way I have to come back. Every game when they bring back the ice puzzles, I'm like, yeah, and we totally needed more of these. Only humans can come up with something so clever as clothes. Actually, the signature bug type of this region, Leavanny, is known for actually creating clothes and tailoring things out of leaves. So, another cool development of Pokemon is like, Leavanny learned how to make clothes after watching people do it. Right now, the biggest strategy I'm going with is just acrobatics everything to death until it dies. Which acrobatics can hit pretty hard when he's not holding an item, so. Oh, that's right. I need to go into my bag and use my items. I almost forgot. Anyway, so I went and ordered it. Also because the really popular species on Pokemon Center always go out really fast. Like I remember I saw in a Reddit post when they had the ones for like all my little evolutions I have around me. And like next day those things were gone. So like sometimes there's a couple other ones that I'm like kind of waiting on, or more like I want to just go and like look at, like they have one that was like a Mareep that I'm kind of like, oh, that looks pretty cool. And they have like this new set that looks like it's going to be in like another like Comfy Friends sort of like series, but maybe a little smaller. I can't tell yet. It's just a new series that they released. But I'm like, I also gotta get myself a little pig night to honor Hamilton. But they also came out with like this whole set of keychains for the different forms of Slowpoke. And I mentioned before, like I've never actually liked Slowpoke. Not until it got its Galar form, and I for some reason fell in love with Galar Slowpoke because they had the whole thing like, when the Isle of Armor DLC in the other one, Crown Tundra came out. They have the thing where, without the DLC, you could actually go and catch a Galarian Slowpoke. And the reason I liked it is because Slowpoke has its tail curved up, and for some reason, I really don't like that. But, like, I don't know why. I don't like that aspect of it. And it looks a little bit more blank. Like, as opposed to, like, Galarian Slowpoke has its tail laying down, it has the nice yellow golden highlights, and it looks a little bit more aware in its eyes. But for some reason, Galarian Slowpoke just fixed like the one issue I had with regular Slowpoke to the point where I'm like, I love this Pokemon. I also had one I've had one in a Nuzlocke before. Her name was Ash. She turned into a Slowking ultimately. I've also raised the Slowbro before. And I don't know, there's something about Galarian Slowpoke that just changes the species just enough to make it really cool. Plus I like Galarian Slowpoke having like an arm cannon. That's pretty cool. And then Galarian Slowking, I kind of like its little cape thing it has going on. It's supposed to be like a mystic mage or a druid. It's, you know, I just really like them. So I've been really into like collecting like Slowpokes and stuff. I have a Slowpoke pillow in the other room. We have a Slowpoke in here somewhere, but like I prefer like the Galarian versions. And oddly enough, there are not a lot of Galarian things. So I usually I'll make do and be like, okay, I'll get regular Slowpoke merch. Especially if it's ones that's like, that's the sleeping one I have. It's laying down and his tail is curled in, so it almost looks like a Galarian Slowpoke. I actually made a Galarian Slowpoke once when I was crocheting. I found a pattern for it. Yeah, how am I not literally like freezing in this place? But, they just released the set of keychains that isn't just, like, you know, the forms of Slowpoke and, like, Slowbro and Slowking, but they also have Galarian Slowpoke and Galarian, like, Slowbro and Slowking, and I'm kind of like, I want to get those, because I'm a big fan of that form of the Pokemon. I've just become very fond of it. Not sure when, just suddenly I decided I really like Slowpokes, but again, not with the tail curled. I don't like the Canatonian version just because of that, because I don't like them with the tail curled. Not to mention, Water Psychic is just a common type for some reason. But then, the fact that, like, Galarian Slowpoke, first of all, is pure Psychic type. So you could catch one without buying the DLC, but you couldn't evolve it without the item from those games. And the thing it kept this whole mystery about it. I remember the direct that for, like, the Isle of Armor DLC and stuff like that, you could briefly see, like, in the corners, like, the evolutions. Yes, Bunny died. She died to the Vanillite that currently is my team. Yeah, that was about, 8 minutes ago. Now I'm in the cold storage looking for Team Plasma because Clay is, you know, despite being a perfectly functioning businessman and an adult, needs kids to hunt out Team Plasma for him. And then this one guy's like, oh, don't worry, he's just trying to test your strength. I'm like, he's literally a gym leader. His job is to battle me and test my strength that way and then give me a badge as I pass. Why does he need to test me this way? But yeah, Bunny died. My Maractus. To be fair, she kind of came in as a kind of Hail Mary sort of thing just to get me further in the run. So she kind of cheated existence in the first place. Still sucks that she died because it would have been nice to have that going into the ground type gym. But at least in her dying, I was able to catch a Vanillite, which I named Mr. Misty. I want to name it something. If it was a female, I would have named it Dairy Queen because my mom used to work at a Dairy Queen, like a little, like back when it used to be like a little small, like, you know, not gas station. What's it called? Is a kiosk is the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Back when Dairy Queen used to be tinier places, and my mom, like, she knows how to do, like, the Dairy Queen signature swirl and all the other stuff, so we have, like, some Dairy Queen, like, history, but I'm like, I don't want to name it Dairy Queen because it's not a girl, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm naming Mr. Misty. It was either that or I was going to name it Dilly Bar, but I decided to go with Mr. Misty. But anyway, so yeah, in the process of trying to get an ice type, Bunny died, which, to be fair, he hit her the first turn with Icy Wind, which she was, you know, was super effective, but the problem was I couldn't hit her with Emmett or, Hamilton, because they would have just outright killed it, and I didn't want to lose the encounter. But, all these guys have timbers. But, like, so he hit her with Icy Wind, which, you know, did damage, because super effective, but I'm like, okay, she can take another hit from Icy Wind, and then he used Avalanche. I'm like, well, she's not going to survive that, because Avalanche does double damage when you go second, which this Vanillite did, and she was already at half health, and it's already super effective, so I was like, well, she did. So, it sucks that she died. Oh, that reminds me, I need to update my kill counter. Sucks that she died, but at this point, I think I might just be numb to the bodies. And at least it was not a meaningless death. I did get something out of it in terms of getting a new Pokemon, but yeah, it sucks. I was just talking about the fact that, you know, I was ordering, me and Matt were looking at some new plushes they had at the Pokemon Center. So I already bought the Cuddly Friends, Clodsire, very excited for that guy to come in. But, like, I was looking at some other ones, like, they have this new series of, like, Slowpoke keychains. So I'm like, because they don't have anything for, like, Galarian Slowbro or Galarian Slowking, which you know, are the ones I really like. and Galarian Slowpoke. But it's nice. It would be nice to have little keychains for them. But also, I was looking at kind of like some other just some other Pokemon things that like they have this new. It's supposed to be like they have the Comfy Friends series, which is the one I really love. That's the one I've shown before at my Zora, my Evolutions. They're really soft and fluffy and just have like the best. They're just the best. I love them as plushies. Whenever a new one comes out that's a Pokemon I like, I always like get it because they're high quality plushies. They're so soft and I love them. But anyway, so I have been looking at like other plushies and stuff that they put out, and just, you know, they have this other series. I think it's supposed to be like it's like called Cuddly Friends or something like that. But I'm looking at that one. I'm interested to get just because it's funny she's learning a dark type move when she's a psychic type. Definitely don't need embargo. But, anyway, so, like, the Cuddly Friends ones, like, they look like they're more, like, poofy and stuff like that. And so, the biggest reason I'm considering getting one of those is because they have, Mary and Flaffy, which you don't see a lot of plushies for. Like, it's... Oh, hey, DZ, I haven't seen you in forever. Granted, I've not been streaming as much, so maybe that's just on me. But, I've been very busy, lately. Lots of subbing to do, in my preschool. Small insomnia, so I'm here. Yeah, oh man. Hey, my mom stayed up to 3 a.m. yesterday just, like, working, so sometimes that happens. Also, I've been, like, for the last 7 days or so, I've been having the weirdest dreams. Not, like, weird in terms of weird, like, weird in terms of, like, it's always something very stressful. Because I don't reply, I'm asleep. That's how my sister rolls. So, no problem there, man. I'm actually gonna go back and heal so that I can restore Emmett's acrobatics. Unless, are you willing to, like... No. I'm like, maybe he'll heal my Pokemon for me. Nope. You're useless, bro. Anyway. They're not necessarily bad. It's more like things that are, like, scenarios that are close to real life with just something sort of weird into it. The problem is that they're always things that end, like, really stressful or make me very anxious. So when I wake up, I don't feel very rested, or I feel like I wake up to escape the stressful situation, and then I'm like, you know, staring at the ceiling being like, I could still be sleeping for another hour. I have to get up early to go to work. That you're like, darn it. Well, the biggest thing right now is that, like, we're going through, like, a cold, like, rainy cycle, and then they'll be having a heat wave another week, I'm sure, but... So, I go to bed in my long pajamas, and with, like, I have this nice weighted blanket I've been using lately. It was for my sister originally, but she didn't take it, so I've been using it because, you know, I got mental disorders. I have a reason to have a weighted blanket. But I wrap myself up in these things, and initially, it's like, you know, you're like, oh, this is nice, warm. But then when you wake up from a stressful dream, then you're all sweaty. And then you're like, because you're stressed, or, I don't know, maybe it got hotter overnight or whatever, and then you're like, now this is horrible. Now not only am I stressed and wanting to be asleep, now I'm also uncomfortable. Now my skin is gross, you know? It's not great. Anyway. When I get hot or I sleep with something covering me too much, I always have... Interesting. Well, but that's the thing, I don't know if I'm, like, temperature reactive, because it went from being pretty warm and being able to have, like, lighter pajamas to, like, it's suddenly gotten very cold over the last few days, so I've been bundling up more and bringing out the long sleeve pajamas. So I'm not sure that mine's temperature related, but I don't know, maybe I'm just stressed. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but it's like, it's been happening for like daily for like a week that I'm just kind of like, okay, did I start? Is it something in my diet, or am I just stressed, or... Yeah. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm about to go fight Team Plasma, or one of the 7 Sages, I think. Random open box that no one decided to investigate. Why are we doing this job that adults could easily be doing? There's like 6 other workers in here. No one thought to look in here? They're literally just huddling up. You're hunting shiny curium? Oh, well, that's you know, very convenient. I'm playing black and white right now, so, you know, curium is very thematically fitting. Shiny curium is the one that has, like, the darker blue crystal, right? And, like, the orange on the forehead piece. Sometimes when I make characters a lot, so sometimes I just look through all the shiny forms just to be like, what gives me an idea for a character here? Like, for instance, I like, shiny Embor because it has the blue flames. It's really nice. All of you huddle around me. I like he's like, instead of getting a coat, let me have a bunch of people just hug me. Sharon's been so sassy. You said everything's a bother like 6 times since we entered the city alone. Alright. Trying it. And let's see what's another one that's, like, pretty good. Most psychic types when they turn shiny are, like, green. Can't remember what, like, shiny Gata is. There's a lot of cool shinies in black and white because a lot of the Pokemon in this game are themed for that region, so they have a lot of solid colors. So, this thing didn't intimidate me, right? I'm pretty sure this thing's gonna try and use Fake Out. So I'm just actually gonna switch over to Hamilton because I'm pretty sure this thing's gonna use Fake Out. My part always seems to use Fake Out when it's done by a computer player, so... No, Torment. Alright, that's fine. Well, now Hamilton's in. My part has a cool design, it's just a pity it really doesn't got a lot going for dark types. There are actually quite a few interesting dark types in Unova. Like, you have Libard, obviously Zoroark, which is... Oh, so, you know, remember back when Zoroark used to be important, like a good... Also, Shiny Zoroark. Another great, very good shiny it has, from the red to like the blue and the purple. Especially its Hisuian form. Like I showed him earlier, but I got my Hisui Zora. I was talking about my comfy friends. I got him right here. Very soft. This is my Hisui Zora, so he's kind of themed. He's technically from Sinnoh, but originally a Unova Pokemon. Mighty Ina I actually have had pretty good usage with. Mighty Ina actually I have used several times, at least as like an early game thing in Oraz, because the first time you catch Mighty Ina in Oraz, it's through the Pokenav, so it always has an egg move on it, so you could get like one of the elemental fangs. When I like most notably when I played Oraz the first time, I actually it was lent to me by a friend of a friend during a beach trip. So essentially I was able to play it as long as we were at the beach, and then when she went home, she would have to take the game back with her. And I didn't have Auras yet, so it was Omega Ruby, I believe. And so I literally ground out for 4 days straight, because that's how long our beach trips was, through the very beginning of Omega Ruby to the end game, including the Delta episode. I played it like non-stop for 4 days to get through the entire game. And therefore I wasn't trying to be like any like particularly special with it. It was like I was just grabbing what I could. So like one of the Pokemon I had till the very end was that Poochyena that evolved into a Mighty Ina. His name was Ryoma, because I had literally just gotten Fire Emblem Fates. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that I had gotten the code for like Fire Emblem Conquest. Like Conquest was the game I bought physically. I had the code for Birthright. I wanted to play Birthright first. I didn't realize I hadn't entered the code correctly, so I didn't have Birthright, so that was why I planned to play, and I was playing it. So I was thinking just of Ryoma, who was from Fire Emblem Birthright. But I had my the whole game. I had that, my starter, I think I named him Sincade. He was a Swampert. You got Mega Swampert in that game. Love me some Mega Swampert. I would love to have a plushie of that, honestly, because he's so buff. And then I had, like, I literally just grabbed what was ever strong along my way because I was trying to get through the game as quickly as possible so I could get the entire experience before I had to leave the beach. So I, like, went and did that. I just grabbed everything that was strong. Like, I had that. I caught this one, through the Pokenav, I found this one Talo that was, like, 10 levels higher than everything else in the area. I think I named him Thurlow. It's something from Doctor Who. And literally just used Swellow, not intending to. But because it was so much strong and he had a good egg move from being from the Pokenav, that I like using the Pokenav a lot in, Whereas, because it works way better than it does in the original games. I don't know how it worked in the original games. But granted, I did play those games when I was a lot younger. Watchog. You'll probably be fine. Right now, I'm just kind of doing the nuke strategy, which is, again, why I named him Emmett also. Besides the fact that he reminds just Emmett's partner Pokemon is an Archeops, but also because of the fact that I'm kind of just like, you know, full speed ahead, no brakes, just ram them with acrobatics over and over again until they die. Take advantage of that Archon's higher attack and higher speed, and the fact that acrobatics doubles when you don't hold an item. And stab. Just hit everything until it dies. And yeah, Celestia's in the back. She's named after the character from Danganronpa because that character has a similar vibe. Funny, this reminds me, this is the generation when Feint Attack was still being mistranslated, because Feint Attack is meant to be, like, F-E-I-N-T, like feint, like a fake jab, is the way the word's supposed to be spelled, and I think it's just funny in the older games, like, they spelled it as feint, as in, like, make a Pokemon faint, for the longest time. I don't know what generation it was that they eventually fixed the name of the game so that it was, actually Feint Attack. I'm just thinking. Okay. Save real fast. But, I remember when I was younger, I thought Feint Attack would literally make the Pokemon faint. Like, oh no, it's just a dark type attack that always hits. It was the signature attack of Umbreon at the time. Well, kind of, at least. You know, Umbreon was one of the first dark types, but it's also my favorite Pokemon. Man, if they had a Comfy Friends for Umbreon, I would buy that so fast. I also would like to get Umbreon as like a Build-A-Bear, but it's never in stock. It's always one of the ones that goes out first. That and like Gengar. Because everyone likes the dark and edgy Pokemon. Anyway, I was going somewhere with this. Oh yeah, I played Oraz, and then like... So I did get all the way to the end of the game with a Mightyena, just using it as my Fire-type coverage, because I didn't find any Fire-types along the way. I was literally trying to get through the areas as quickly as possible to get to the game as quickly as possible. So, like, the other one, like, you know, in the middle of Oraz, like, you get a Latios from, like, when you meet Steven and go to, like, Mirage Island. So I used that Latios all the way through the game, definitely helped me power through thing, and I named him Sirius, I believe. Like, Sirius Black. And, what else did I have? I had, like, 2 other Pokemon. But, like, essentially anything I could find along the way that was distinctly strong, I just used it and kept, like, powering to get to the end of the game. And I did get to the end of the game, and I even completed the Delta episode so that I wanted to be able to transfer that, like, Rayquaza into my own game. Like, we had a copy of Alpha Sapphire, I believe, my sister was playing. Or maybe I was playing, I think I was playing Sun and Moon at the time. So I was like, essentially, I wanted to find a way to get the Pokemon from that girl's copy of Omega Ruby that she had lent me. But I'm like, I want to take my Pokemon with me, so I transferred them over into like my Sun and Moon game that I had with me. I'm like, oh, well, as long as I'm here, I can do the Delta episode and go get myself a, you know, like a Deoxys and a Rayquaza Mega Form and transfer them over. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But yeah, so after that, I really should play through. I don't think I've actually played through Omega. Have I played through Omega Ruby since? I played through Alpha Sapphire, like, more casually, taking my time, and then I did a Nuzlocke in one of them, I think. I don't know if I played through Omega Ruby, though, after that one, like, speed run, essentially, I did. And now Clay shows up. Hiding in a chilly place like this. Yeah, none of your workers noticed it. They literally left the door open. How did no one notice? Thank you for showing up after we already beat everyone. Here I am to take off all your hard work. Although I will give it, you know, as much as I'm teasing Clay for this one, I will give them props. Unlike most gym leaders, they're just kind of like, hey, join my gym, and then there's an evil team running around and they couldn't care or they don't know anything. I like the fact that from the very beginning, all the gym leaders are aware of Team Plasma and the fact that they could potentially be a nuisance if left unchecked. So they are kind of at least aware of this potential threat in their cities for the most part and will try and get in their way or at least keep them from causing trouble. Aaron's being such a grump lately, but I'm assuming it's because Alder, like, shattered his world view. Anyway, so let's head out. I'm not going to challenge the gym just yet. I want to, like, grind a little bit more in levels just to get, Celestia's level up a little higher if I can. She'll evolve at level 32, so getting her that high would be nice. We're in an area with a lot of herdier, which should, like, give me some good experience. But, we'll have to see. Let me go heal first. But yeah, so Mighty Ina is one that, like, is not necessarily necessarily great, but the biggest thing is, like, Mighty Ina has stuff that, like, you know, and, like, Intimidate, which is, like, something that, like, you know, Stareva can have, sometimes, like, Luxray can have. Like, they're not the best Pokemon, sure, but, like, I actually have used Mighty Ina several times. I actually also used the Mighty Ina in a, Pokemon XG run I did. Her name was Milady. It's based off a character. I was playing Soul Hackers 2 at the time, so a lot of my characters were named it, like, and then my starter's name was Arrow. I don't think I never named anyone Sizo, though, because I never got anyone who was based off his vibes. But he definitely was my favorite character in Soul Hackers 2, which is a game I played, like, 90% to the completion while I had COVID. And then I stopped after I was done having COVID and trying to, like, you know, recover and stuff, but then I never went back to beat the game, so it's one of those games I'm just like, oh, I probably should go back and beat that at some point. That's why I'm trying to, when I play games now, like, keep it, like, sorry, wrong one. Trying to keep, like, a gaming journal, because that's what they recommend if you're playing a lot of RPGs, is to go and, like, keep track of your thoughts, keep track of, like, where the story's going, so, because RPGs are long and big time commitments, so, like, if you can't, like, I actually should go to the dark grass. I think there's some dark grass in the back. I could get multiple encounters back there. But, honestly, I don't even mind losing Bunny if it meant that I didn't have to get a Timber as an encounter. I mentioned before in this run, I hate Timbers. They kill my runs so often. I lost many Pokemon to Timbers already in this run. As you can tell, my very high body count. I have not kept a single team of, like, 6 for more than maybe a few minutes on the stream, but Liepard is definitely a Pokemon that looks pretty cool. So, but, like, Liepard kind of has the same issue, like, that a lot of, honestly, dark types do, as far as there's a lot of just pure dark types that are clearly meant to be techie Pokemon. But the thing is, like, you really need a very certain set of skills in order to be a tech Pokemon, and especially with the way, like, competitive goes now, it's like, you know, it's either about speed or it's about bulk, and Liepard, unfortunately, doesn't have either of those. Like, it's fast, but it's, like, it doesn't really have any attacking options. And it's not doing anything, like, niche that, like, another dark type couldn't do. Like, the thing I was mentioning before about with Zoroark is that Zoroark was, like, a lot of people assumed it was, like, a pseudo-legendary or an event Pokemon because initially you can't even catch Zoroark in the game. You had to get through an event. And then, like, in Black and White 2, you can't catch Zoroark either. You, like, have to, In this game, there's like a special event Celebi. It was to like, man, remember back when they used to like give out Pokemon to coincide with movie releases? But back then it was to coincide with the movie release with, you know, Zoroark, you know, like Master of Illusion or something like that. It's a good enough movie. It's the only one of the black and white series I watched because for some, like, I know the gist of the one that was about the Swords of Justice, but I just don't think they're cool Pokemon. They're kind of weird looking. The Genies didn't even get a movie. They were a TV special. And then, like, the black and white movie is weird because it was the same movie with slightly different changes, which was the first time they tried doing that, and I'm not sure why they did, but it's like, it's the same movie, just with Reshiram versus Zekrom, with one trainer versus the other. It's like an alternate reality sort of thing. So I didn't watch those, and also because, you know, back then I was watching things that were technically being pirated on YouTube. Like, I found them as people uploaded them on YouTube back when YouTube was still young and you could watch a whole movie on YouTube. They were, like, uploaded in, like, parts. That's how I watched movies back then. But, you can't really do that now. There's, you know, bots and stuff like that. See, every time I need a move to hit, like, 5 times, it will never hit 5 times. But if I need, you know, it to hit once, it'll hit multiple times. Or if I don't want the opponent to hit me 5 times, it'll always hit 5 times. Same thing like whenever I hit like a, you know, Pokemon that has static or poison point, I will always get that status condition, but if I'm ever using that and trying to use it against my opponent, it will never work for me. But anyway, so, Zoroark Master of Illusion had a special event, Celebi, which you could bring into this game, and then if you went to a certain kid in Driftveil, it would be revealed, Celebi would reveal that that kid was actually a Zora in disguise, then you could catch the Zora, and, you know, that's how you got that Pokemon. I think there was a similar event, like, thing with Zoroark, because, Zoroark actually can, speak as a, and act as a human. Zoroark can't. Its illusions aren't perfect yet, so it always forgets to hide its tail, and it can't speak yet. But when you get to Zoroark, it's, you know, it's become more masterful with its illusions, so it can actually pretend to be a human. Like, there's actually a Zoroark you find that is like a lonely woman in a trailer park, and when you bring Zora up to it, it will refer back to its normal form of Zoroark, and you can catch it. It's a whole big thing, but essentially, like, Zoroark was treated like this mythical Pokemon. I remember it used to be on all these... Gosh, what did I have at the time? I had some sort of bag or something like that was, like, a special one that was, like, promotional. They had, like, Lucario and Zoroark on because they were seen, like, as kind of, like, counterparts to each other. That's why for a while I, like, you know, thought that Lucario was something that was from Unova. It wasn't until, like, you know, later I played the game, like, oh, actually, it's this special event Pokemon in, you know, Sinnoh. You can only get it through an egg that Riley gives you because he has Lucario, which also kind of does imply that Lucario might not even be originally from Sinnoh in the first place, considering that you can't find it roaming in the wild, and you do find Riley roaming in the wild in Black and White too. So I think there are some good implications that even though it is a Sinnoh Dex Pokemon, Riley and Lucario might not be from Sinnoh at all, which is an interesting thing. And there's also, like, I could go into it. This is something that, like, I've talked before when we did our Legends Arceus playthrough a long time ago. But, like, there's lots of theories that, like, Unova and Sinnoh are, like, right next to each other or connected to each other. You know, like, you know, a lot of... Oh my gosh, by that much HP? Are you kidding me? There's a lot of implications to be like, you know, Pokemon could have come between the two areas. There's a lot of correlations between the characters. Like, for instance, like, the person who's a Battle Factory head in the previous game, Caitlyn, you don't actually fight her because she's just a young girl at that point, still trying to get used to her, like, psychic powers. So you fight her butler instead, who's Darach. And then in this game, you see Caitlyn a little bit older, and she's now gotten better grasp of her powers, so she's now the Psychic-type member of the Elite Four. There's a lot of crossover between Sinnoh and Unova, which is pretty cool, like, lore-wise and cameo-wise. And I always like, you know... I like when the regions feel connected, like they're one big world. So my biggest issue with Paldea is that, like, Paldea is, like, the first game to have literally no mention of any other game or region in it at all. Now... This isn't counting the DLC, because then the DLC kind of went overboard and made way too many connections that don't really have any meaning or substance. Which, again, if you're just going to name something to be like, hi, and look, we made a thing, then why bother? You know, why even do it? you know, if you're gonna do something and I don't like it, but at least you're doing it with, like, this is the way it's meant to be, that's fine. Not to mention, the Scarlet and Violet DLC was literally them trying to be like, oh, hey, we fixed it. I'm like, no, the game itself is still broken. You just made a decent experience that can go along with it for an additional $30. Which is ridiculous. I will pay $30 for a DLC, that's fine. If it's a game that I want more of. Like, I played $30 for the DLC that went with Fire Emblem Engage because I love that game, and then it was well worth it for the DLC because I got a lot of new, got some new characters, some new emblems, and I got, like, a new story mode, so it was very much worth the money. Then you're going to be in, like, no matter how good Scarlet and Violet's DLC might be, the base game was not a fun experience. So why would I want to give you extra money when I feel like the first game isn't even worth the $60 it still runs for, you know? That's my alarm going off and it keeps buzzing my stomach. Oh, Mincino. Didn't see that one coming. And my thing's chugging again, it's because we're in a double battle. Okay, focusing on the biggest thing I fear for Herdier is its takedowns are very powerful. So, we're gonna focus all our energy on that Herdier to get it off the field, because Mincino can't do as much damage as Herdier can. Swift's fine. Yeah, not a lot of damage there. So, like, gosh, I'm kind of going in circles a little bit. And don't get me distracted, I'll go on to Paldea for a while, but anyway, so the point being is that, sure, get hit by a Q charge in the middle of the attack, that does me so much. But essentially, so the thing is that, like, Zora and Zoroark were, like, these special event Pokemon, that they were practically considered to be, like, pseudo-legendaries, or, you know, like, you know, special, kind of like the way, like, Lucario is. And, like, you know, it's not often you find, it's not a Pokemon you're going to find in the wild. It's something that is, like, it's, like, N's signature Pokemon. It's something very, actually, man, theorizing in Black and White's generation was a fun time. Well, I don't think it's, like, a true theory, but the theory I remember really loving at the time was the whole, like, N is actually a Zoroark theory. Which makes sense, because when you look at Zoroark, you look at him, his design, especially his hairstyle, they're very similar. There's clearly some illusion there. I don't think N is a Zoroark. Like, some people were like, especially because we know Zoroarks can go and speak even in human illusions. They can speak and act just like humans can. So there was, like, this whole, for a while, idea of, like, you know, is N actually a Zoroark? You know, is that why he can talk to Pokemon? I don't think N's a Zoroark. It's an interesting theory, but I don't think it's true. However, I do think that N was raised by a Zoroark. Because, again, a Zoroark could be something that could raise a human child reasonably, because it is something that could make itself look like a person if they wanted to. You know? It's also, generally they live in packs and they're very protective Pokemon, so, like, it would definitely be the type to find, like, something that's lost and young, regardless of whether it's a Pokemon or not, and take it in and care for it. You know, like, Zoroarks are very good mothers, and they're, like, they use their illusions not just, you know, to mess with people, but also just to protect themselves. So, like, I definitely believe M was raised by a Zoroark. That would also explain why his, like, signature Pokemon is a Zora. It's like, you know, maybe it's like his brother or something. It'd be fun. But Zoroark is also kind of like Rotom, where, like, originally this is a Pokemon that had, like, you only could find in a certain location, and it was, like, felt special to own one. But then for some reason in, like, X and Y, and then the generations following, they just started appearing in the wild. Like, you could just find Zoroark as a random wild encounter in X and Y. And then in, like, was it Alola, I believe, that Rotom was just, like, a random encounter you could find. It just was in haunted places. And you're kind of like, well, why did I bother? take out that Vanillite first because I don't want it hitting. Yeah. I do not want it hitting Emmett with an ice type attack. Although I don't know if why can you just hit once, Hamilton, for more than 2 hits, please, bro? Every time he's hit 2 or 3 times, like, come on, a 4 hit. Or even a 3 hit in that case would have been helpful. But, you could just, like, X and Y, I remember there's, like, this one forest that you can just find Zoroark running around. Like, it'd be like you found Wild Lucario was just going around, and even now they have, like, again, Sword and Shield. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that either. Lucario used to be a very special Pokemon, and getting a Railu egg was a very important thing. It's like finding a Togepi in the wild. You're like, this is a very unique Pokemon that technically only happens through events and stuff like that, and just Zoroark became less special than that, and then like Rotom, for instance, is something you can just randomly find in the overworld in Sword and Shield, and I definitely don't like that, because again, Rotom was a special, like, Mirage Pokemon sort of thing, you know, like, they're, you know, these are event Pokemon, and just, when they didn't have their, like, uniqueness of, there was one, and you only have one to get, then you kind of just like, oh, well, this is just kind of a subpar Pokemon. I mean, people love Rotom Wash, but, like, otherwise, the base Rotom or a lot of its other forms. I mean, I think some people like Rotom Heat, too. I personally preferred Rotom Mow. I think it would look like a crazed lawnmower. I just thought it was funny. But, like, Zoroark also has the issue, it's clearly meant to be a special attacker, and it has pretty good stats. The problem is it has a very shallow move pool, and it's rather frail, so it's not exactly an easy Pokemon to use, and especially in later generations. Like, Zoroark originally was a fun Pokemon because of its illusion ability, so it would look like whoever was in the last slot of your party, which, you know, was cool, you know, so, like, you could send out, like, something I would do is, like, I would send Zoroark out, like, maybe as, put the last Pokemon party as something that's weak to a Psychic, like a Poison type. Like, maybe I have a Scolipede in my last slot on my party, and then I, put Zoroark in the front. It'll make it look like Zoroark's a Scolipede, so therefore the AI will probably go and try and hit with a Psychic move, but it won't affect Zoroark because Zoroark's a Dark type. And it was just, it's a fun shenanigan sort of thing to use that ability for. But then later on, like, they made it so that, like, Zoroark would appear on the field in its natural form, and then its illusion would work and change its form. And like, well, now you know it's a Zoroark. That's not... It was more fun when you didn't know which one was the Zoroark. This is one of the things that makes, like, N's final, fight actually a little... keeps you on your toes, because one of his Pokemon is a Zoroark, so... It's going to come out looking like a different Pokemon. And you might go into it thinking it's that one Pokemon, and then hit it and realize, oh, wait, that was his Zoroark. That, and, like, maybe you tried to, like, you put, like, it's something that you only can counter with water, so you put out your grass type. And then it gets hit with something else, and then you realize, oh, wait, that wasn't actually the thing I was trying to hit. That was his Zoroark, and now I just wasted a Pokemon. Like, it is a fun, tricksy Pokemon, but then, like, you know, eventually came to the point where, like, you know, either Illusion wouldn't work immediately, or Illusion would just, like, you know, just not work the way it used to, and so, like, you went in knowing it was a Zoroark, and then you go in knowing it's a Zoroark, and then it would change. You're like, oh, well, that's not really cool. And then, like, you know, competitively, initially when they did competitive, it was like you didn't know what your opponent had, so throwing out a Zoroark could throw them for a loop because you wouldn't know it. But now that they have open sheets, not only do they know what Pokemon you have, they know what stats you have, they know what moves you're going to use. Like, the most way that you can kind of surprise the opponent is, like, playing it tricksy, but, like, a ability like Zoroark is useless then, because you know there's a Zoroark on their team somewhere, so you can't surprise them with what seems to be another Pokemon. But it's just weird, like, that's kind of why I like going back to older games now instead of playing, like, I've done monologues and some Nuzlocks in Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield is a game that I wasn't terribly fond of initially. Largely just because of the way it ends. Its, like, villain plotline isn't kind of embarrassing, and I was definitely not a fan of Leon. I have more respect for him now as a character, but he still definitely ranks very low in terms of, like, my favorite champions. He's, like, just above the bottom. Because while I think he's interesting, I also think he's definitely a champion that only works in his own region, and that as soon as you go outside of Galar, he just seems kind of immature and inexperienced because he's calling himself the strongest champion of all time, and I'm like, you're strong and you're good and and I think you're really well used in Galar, but I'm like, is this really a guy who I think could stand up to like Cynthia or Steven or someone else who has a lot more clout and experience as a champion? No, not really. Again, he's kind of a kid compared to the rest of them. And like, you know, I respect Leon as a champion once he takes over Rose Tower, and he seems like he's tasted his first defeat, and he now you know, has learned a little bit. But like the fact that he's like, oh, I've never lost the battle before, I'm like, that makes me wonder if there was cheating involved, which is heavily implied by the trainer cards in Galar. That's another fun fan theory for another time. But I don't like playing Scarlet and Violet for so many reasons. Sword and Shield I came around on after playing some challenge modes in it, and there are things I definitely think it does right. There are also some things I definitely think it does wrong. It's kind of how I feel about Kalos as a region. It has some great potential, but also so many missed opportunities. Like, people were saying, like, you know, I remember seeing, like, news about, like, people were like, Black and White remakes when? And, you know, like, it's the last one of the, 2D generation to be remade. I'm like, we don't need to remake Black and White or Black and White 2, because the games themselves, as I'm playing, still hold up really well. And honestly, I think it would just lose a lot of the characters. The thing I love most about this game is this is the only game that has the moving sprites, and I think that added so much character to the Pokemon. You know? Sprite art is kind of a lost art, actually, right now. You know? Like, they can put so much, like, detail and expressiveness about, like, Herdier right here. You see how he, like, goes down to pounce and shakes its tail and its ears. It looks very like a playful dog, because dogs go down like that on their front paws when they are looking to play, and that gives a very dog-like behavior. But then in, like, the 3D models, Herdier just stands there. It doesn't have a whole... Jeez. I'm telling you, Herdier's takedown is the worst. Alright, time to go back and heal Hamilton, I guess. But, what's coming up? Black and White, Unova as a region is very strong. Like, it's definitely... Okay, that's fine. I was just curious if it was gonna let me. I'm gonna switch him in. And actually, I'm not gonna fight with him, but I'm just gonna give him the smoke ball so I can run through wild encounters on my way back. I don't have to run into anything that I can't get away with. Not making that mistake again. I am smoke ball all the way. I've lost 2 Pokemon from encounters I could not run from. Not taking that run. Risk. Anyway, but Unova, I think, as a region, still holds up very well. I mean, people look back on it now and be like, yeah, this was actually very well done generation of games. Just people... It was trying to reboot and go in a new direction, and people don't like change, and were really in love with Emerald and the other games at the time. And they didn't want change. They thought it was I don't know. I can't tell you, because I loved Black and White when it came out, but I remember at the time a lot of people hated it for honestly really ridiculous reasons now. And people looking back on it now and being like, oh yes, this is like the best games in the series. But like, I don't think there's anything in Black and White that we really need to remake. Like, would be cool to see it in 3D, sure, but I'm like, honestly, it's definitely one of the games that I'd rather go and play the original as I'm doing right now, because I think it's still very solid game, good characters, good like building, love the sprite art. So like Black and White remakes, people are like, I wonder when those are gonna happen. Like, I honestly don't care. I don't really want a Black and White remake, especially after what they did with BDSP, and be like, we're making a faithful recreation. I'm like, no, you made a lesser recreation of the games that people actually didn't like. People don't really go in saying like, I love Diamond and Pearl. People go in saying they love Platinum, because Diamond and Pearl had some issues balancing wise, and travel, just mechanics, quality of life stuff. But, like, what people say they love when they love Gen 4, it's Platinum. Because it went and fixed all the, like, rough spots that Diamond and Pearl had and made it a very fun experience. Platinum I love. But, they went and, like, if there's a game that needs to be remade, they should be remaking Kalos. X and Y clearly need a Z version because the games have a lot of potential, have some great world building ideas, and like could have been one of the best like Pokemon stories we had. Especially with the whole idea of Mega Evolutions being introduced, but like just there's so much there that is not used. Like stuff that literally is just sitting there, either being hinted at or straight up ignored. I'm like, if there's a game that needs an extra polish, an extra coat of paint, an extra bit of, you know, like, something to push it across the finish line, that is without a doubt, Kalos. They needed a Z version, and the fact that, like, we never got a Z version is so weird, because then, like, Zygarde is just never gets a chance to do anything. In fact, Zygarde, like, my sister was talking to me, we were talking about Pokemon the other day, and she told me about how like, she associates Zygarde more with Alola because there's the whole Zygarde Cell collection quest in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon. So like she relates that game more to Zygarde, even though Zygarde is the third legendary of the trio in X and Y. It's just so weird that we never got a Z version, especially when it was the whole idea of the 3D, like, this was on the 3DS. You know, so 3 dimensions, X, Y, and Z axis, and it's weird that we never got one. And granted, now we are getting Legends ZA, but since there's been nothing more than the initial teaser, not any gameplay, I'm definitely not holding my breath. Legends Arceus was great, definitely one of my favorite games in recent memory, if not my favorite game in recent memory. BDSP was honestly just bland. It's not bad, I enjoyed it enough to play through it twice, but it's about as much enjoyment as I could get out of playing, like, Diamond and Pearl, the original games. You know? And then, I already kind of mentioned a bit about Scarlet and Violet, which were just embarrassing. For a game from a company that is so ludicrously rich to have that many problems and bugs and lacking so many quality of life developments that Legends Arceus, again, a game from the same franchise, had, that were oddly missing in Scarlet and Violet, and then still no voice acting, even though they have them in the mobile game. Like, I am not going to be rushing out to play the next, Pokemon game, without a doubt, unless it's a really good trailer. I'm like, I am by no means in a rush to play the next Pokemon game will be. Are you gonna knock out the Herdy or this? No. Okay, Hamilton, you have... Why? Lately, he's just only hitting 2 times. Most of the time, I can get him to at least hit 3 pretty consistently, but, like, every time lately he's been using Arm Thrust, he's just hitting twice. Alright, Celestia got level 28. Try and get Celestia level 30 if we can. Originally I was saying we were going to do the Driftveil City, Okay, ow, dude. I do believe Emmett's still above, should still be above 50% HP, so his attack should still be normal. There we go. But rude, sir. That's why Timber's annoying, because they always say, like, moves are fine, but for some reason they have that one rock move that means, like, good luck trying to fight this thing with your flying types. I have a potion or something, I can just give it to Emmett so I don't have to walk all the way back. Oh, I probably should use these. Forgot I have these. J-swing raises. Special attack. Let's give to you. Clever wing, special defense. Resist wing is defense. Think is special defense. Protein is attack. I'm gonna give that one to Emmett too. Oh no, I didn't want to literally give it to him. Oops. Alright, that's my fault. The item pack from Emmett that I accidentally gave him. Essentially, until I see it better, like, again, Legends Arceus was a great game, and after, like, playing through that game, I was just filled with potential. Like, going into the past of any region would be fascinating. Like, the biggest one I thought about would be, like, okay, so your attack's always high as it can go. Alright. I guess you two already have maxed out attack stats, I guess. It's fine. Anyway, the potential of for Legends like that go into back like to see things before the regions we know, like the way Legends Arceus was done was actually really well done. I really enjoyed how they tied in like some of the legends, how things came to be in Sinnoh as we know it, like even just the name of it from Hisui to Sinnoh, and like I really like the characters in that game too. Lots of great callbacks, lots of fun stuff. But then like apparently Legends CA is supposed to, from what I understood of the leaks at least, it looked like it's supposed to be a future version of Lumio City, so I'm like, how far in the future exactly are we talking? Like from, you know, Pokemon as a, like, world, we don't really know what time period it's in, because they have, like, we're not, different regions are more advanced than others, like, you know. I know for Unova is definitely the most industrialized and probably most technologically advanced region based on its industry. So like, but I'm like, future ones, and also the fact that, again, based on the teaser, it looked like Legends EA is only taking place in a futuristic Lumio City, not the entirety of the Kalos region. Because again, going to the past for Kalos would be really interesting, because you have the Pokemon War, you have the creation of like the Mega Stones, you have the whole thing with AZ and his Floette that all happened in the past. Now we can actually see them. Maybe we'll see the world as it was before this whole war, and back when like Xerneas and Yveltal were roaming. But this in the future, I'm kind of like, what story are you gonna have to tell? Same thing with like if I had a Legends like game, like I don't want a black and white remake, but like like a Legends Curium would be fun, because then we could see like the Unova region as it once was, you know, like we could see the original dragon, which you know, Reshiram and Zekrom split off from, you know, leaving the empty shelf Curium, you know. You can see what that original Pokemon looked like, maybe. Or maybe it's just after they split, and we see, like, maybe a different version of Curium before it becomes all icy and cold, you know? Because that wasn't Curium's natural state initially. It's just what was left over after the heat of Reshiram and Zekrom, essentially the two energies that they both had, left its body and formed into new Pokemon. It'd be nice to maybe see, like, the fact that Unova was once split between two different kingdoms, you know? Two different brothers who, like, you know, had different ideals that Reshiram and Zekrom both stood for differently and therefore became new Pokemon. Like, maybe we could see in the middle of a civil war between those two. You know? And we know it ultimately ends in a tie, where Reshiram and Zekrom's power is equal, so they can not overcome each other, and this is the lesson the brothers learn, is essentially that, they are, that both of their ideals, both, you know, both of the values they have are of equal importance and measure, so they stop fighting, you know, like, it'd be cool to see that sort of thing play out. I don't think that's gonna happen, but you know, again, if there's a game that needs to be remade, I'm glad they're doing Kalos, because Unova is going to be one that people are going to get wary of, because they already weren't really happy about what they did with the Diamond and Pearl ones. So, like, Pokemon needs a win right now, because they do not have the trust in their fan base at the moment. Like, you have the mindless kids, but that's because they have nothing else to compare to. And don't get me wrong, there are fun things to be found in Scarlet and Violet. I'm not saying they're without, you know, merit, but that's kind of the thing that's frustrating about it, is that Scarlet and Violet aren't entirely horrible. Like, the best thing I say about BSP is that, like, at the end of the day, it's a remake that's kind of just boring, you know? But, like, Scarlet and Violet have some good ideas. There are characters I like, and I definitely think it has some very strong story points. The problem is that the game itself isn't really fun, and it has a lot of issues. That, again, even just as far back as Legends Arceus, the game that it literally came out right after, like 3 months after, does not have those issues. So you're kind of like, why is this happening? This is Pokemon. We expect a certain level of quality with these games, you know? Are you kidding me? Do you see how much HP that Herdier survived by? Hamilton's just determined not to kill a Herdier in a single attack. No matter what, he has to leave it, like, that much HP left. Alright, you want Encore me, it's just gonna hit you next. But, I would like to see a, I don't want to hate these things. I don't want to feel apathetic about this franchise. It's like probably one of the most, like, major things in my life that I'm most passionate about, that I think about constantly, that I'm always relating the world to. Like, I love Pokemon deeply and intensely, like, as a franchise, and, like, all of its different facets, from the games to the manga, and everything. I mean, I'm surrounded by Pokemon plushies even as I'm sitting here, so... But, like, I don't like not caring about what game comes out next. But just Scarlet and Violet was just kind of like... I've been an apologist for lacking features for the last, like, for a while. I was an apologist for BDSP, I was an apologist for Sword and Shield, but I'm like... Scarlet and Violet was just, like, a new sort of, like... No, they don't care, and it was the most successful one in the franchise. That's sad, because it is by far not the best quality in the franchise. It does not deserve to sell better than every other game in the franchise. I'm just kind of like... This, kind of sucks. I'm actually gonna do this, because I don't want you taking any damage. I literally have Dig on him to have a ground type move, but also just to have, like, and I need, for some reason, for him to be underground. You know, I wonder if Emmett was, digging underground and then something used, like, Earthquake. Yeah, I knew you were gonna try and hit him with Avalanche, jerk. But, like, if it would not affect him because he's a flying type that's using Dig, so technically, because I'll have to look it up. Earthquake and Bulldoze do double damage to Pokemon in the Dig state. But ground type moves can't hit flying types. So I wonder if, like, Emmett using Dig, if he could just not be hit by ground type moves in the first place, would he, like, not take double damage from being hit while in a Dig turn, because he, you know, he's a flying type and therefore immune to, you know, ground type attacks? I never thought about that before. Yeah. I'm hoping, though, that now that the Switch 2 has been announced, that in the next major Nintendo Direct update, they're probably going to just worry about, like, you know, announcing the new console and all stuff like that. But I'm like, I'm hoping to not necessarily, I don't care about, like, a trailer, like, of, like, that's going to be like, here's the launch title, like, you know, here's the launch date for Legends ZA or anything like that. I'm like, I'd just like to know more about what they're cooking on. Clearly, hopefully Scarlet and Violet taught them that they can't just keep pumping things out and like try new innovative stuff and expect it to be good quality when they have no clue what they're doing. So I'm just kind of like, if they need time to cook on Legends DA, that's fine. But I'm like, it'd be nice to see, like, I don't know, another even if it's not gameplay, maybe just another teaser to give us a little bit more information. Maybe just a story trailer. Maybe it's just explaining the world we're going to be in. Like, I think Legends Arceus did that too. But, like, you don't have to show us the gameplay yet. Just go and be like, hey, this is what we're working on. Definitely don't show me the next generation of Pokemon. I mean, I want Paldea to be done with because I don't really like it as a generation. It's definitely my least favorite, probably, batch of Pokemon to date. But, I have things I do find I like about Paldea, but again, they're just so... At this point, I'm kind of tired of kind of making excuses for this, you know, this big franchise that really should be better than it has been in years. Like, the little... I don't give, like, a lot of too much criticism to, like, something like Fire Emblem, because, like, it's a niche series. It always has been. It's bigger now, and I honestly think in a lot of ways that's not been the best for the series in how it's grown. But, like, I give it some slack because I also know it is, at the end of the day, a niche series that is, you know, trying to be up there with big boys. But, like, Pokemon is the big boy. It's, like, the biggest boy in terms of, like, the Monster Tamer genre, or even the RPG genre. Like, you cannot go anywhere in the world where people, like, don't know at least vaguely about, like, Pikachu. Like, he's, like, one of the top 3, like, most recognizable mascots with, like, Hello Kitty and, like, Mickey Mouse. Like, Pokemon has the means to get better. The fact that it's not because it's still making money at its low quality, and like Scarlet and Violet was the tipping point of that, we're like, oh hey, we made a new record amount of money, even though the game we shipped out was utter crap. And definitely not finished or ready, but we still made a butt ton of money on it. That's very disheartening. Because then, like, why would they ever change if they're still getting their money out of it? Usually when people change because it's going to affect their business. How much longer till Celestia levels up? Okay, she's almost there. Alright. A few more battles. When she hits level 30, like I said, that's what I'm gonna call it. Just doing a bit of grinding tonight. I was going to face Clay, but then I was like, you know, Bunny died. If Bunny was still alive, I would have just gone in to go face Clay. But I'm like, I need to have... Since Hamilton's not going to be really helpful in this match unless I'm fighting steel types or maybe rock types. Like... I need to level up the rest of my team. So I'm trying to get Celestia up there. Get her to level 30. And I'm going to try and get Mr. Misty up here to level 30 if possible. So... And then I'll put the EXP shirt back on Celestia so she can get, like, level 32 so she can evolve, which would be nice. But, Hershey grinding, this is the fastest it goes. Okay, so by going faster, my game, like, might just legitimately crash. I'm gonna start with Dig just to get Emmett off the field, because 2 Herdiers, like if they both went with Takedown against him, that could be problematic. Hamilton, why can't you hit more than once? We're gonna get Emmett off the field so nothing can hit him. I'm gonna just be careful. that Herder's really slower than Emmett, so we're just gonna go acrobatics with arm thrust to try and get rid of it. Emmett should still be right above half HP, so his attack power should still be high. Alright. Alright. A few more battles. Like, I was originally going to go and be like, let's go fight the thing tonight, but like, I could have just gone in to fight Clay if I still had Bunny, because she's a grass type. That would have made things a lot easier. But honestly, the problem was that the best thing I have right now is an ice type I literally just caught. So, like, he's not properly leveled. Also just kind of stinks that every time I put something else out there that I had, like, on EXP share, like, be like, oh, okay, I just got you up, like, I literally just got Bunny to level 28 when she was, like, level 20. And the fact that she just, like, outright dies, and I'm just like, oh. Nice. That's a waste of experience. That's the bigger actually thing, is like, it's not even just, like, it is to some extent, oh no, I lost the Pokemon, I love that Pokemon, I feel bad for losing them, I literally just got her in the last area, that would be fair. But, it's also the fact, like, I spent so much time trying to level you up, and now all of that's gone to waste. I could have been actually, like, that's the issue sometimes with Nuzlocke, is that, like, when a Pokemon dies, it's like, you lose your friend, but also, you lost all that buy-in, and now you have to go and get a new Pokemon, and you have to go and train them up. And you're gonna have to spend hours like I am right now, grinding again. And you're just like, oh man. It's just like, you know, you put time into it and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh no. I've spent so much time. And I can't make the encounters go faster because, again, I think my computer would just straight up crash. Going underground for that. Nice. I'm gonna try and use Heat Crash on this guy and see how much that does. Nice. Okay, there it is, level 30. Now we're going back to the Pokemon Center. I'm tired of fighting these Pokemon, at least for tonight. Like I said, the next time I'm on, I will have to train Mr. Misty because he's still level 23, and we obviously need him to be higher than that before we fight the gym. But I would have gone and done the gym tonight if Bunny was still alive, but I'm like, I've lost so many Pokemon at this point. I literally can't go one stream without losing someone, someone dying. I'm just not going to take any chances. If I have to overlevel in order to get past the boss, so be it. This has been like the most cursed run ever. I have 12 deaths, and I am like three in. Okay, I will fight an Audino. Audinos are worth a lot of XP. I will fight an Audino. Caught an Audino. He lasted all of one battle. Sometimes I forget he crashed as a move. because I'm not sure if it's Embor's signature move in this game. Might be. I forget it's a move because it's one of those weight-based ones, and I do not... I have a lot of Pokemon facts just sitting in my head. I do not have the weights of Pokemon in my head well enough to know, like, what would actually be helpful with a move like that. Like, it's one of those things that's like Heavy Slam or stuff like that, where it's like, you know, based on your weight. I do know Heavy Slam pretty well as a move, though, because when I used competitive, did competitive for a little while, and I had, like, a Steel Mono type team I liked using. I used a Mega Aggron, and I had Heavy Slam on it, you know, as a kind of form of coverage for the fact that, like, you know, Mega Aggron on its own is heavy, and the Mega Aggron is also very heavy. So, you know, Heavy Slam could do some pretty good damage pretty consistently. And it didn't have the issue that Iron Head has of missing. Like, Iron Head will always miss in the one moment when you really don't need it to. That 5 or 10% accuracy lowering is a real killer sometimes. Anyways, let's see what we got. So, Celestia is now level 30. She'll need 2 more levels to evolve, but at least she's gotten somewhere. Emmett and Hamilton are doing pretty good. These are my bros right here. I gave them set because Hamilton literally like pulled through against Elisa, so he didn't have to go to battle, and that's why he still survives. So they're like little brothers. Plus, I named him Emmett. How can I not put him with a brother figure of some sort? And we'll work on training him next. Actually, as long as I'm here, let me go ahead and switch the items around so I don't forget to do it next time. Let's give him the EXP share. I'll put the smoke ball on her. That way when I come back to train later, I'll be ready to do so. Save, keep that online. Actually, let me do one more thing before we, my mom teases me about this all the time, that like, I'll be like, I'm ready to sign off, then I'll think of like 3 other things to do. Because I got an ADHD brain. Okay. I almost forgot. I should see if there's I have any interesting TMs I could give my new guy. I don't think so, but... yeah, I don't really have anything interesting at the moment. Anyway, so... I was originally gonna fight the gym leader, but I'm just like, you lost my best thing to fight ground types with, and the new one I got just is gonna need training before he's gonna be ready. That's all the grinding I'm doing for now. I'll grind some more in another stream. Thanks for anyone who's been staying and watching and hanging out and just kind of listening to the background. I love being people's background noise. That's what you need. You're a lurker and you just need someone talking in the background, mindlessly about stuff while you finish paper. I'm great for that. I love ranting and chatting about things. I won't be doing a ton right now just because, like I said, I'm in a graduate program and I'm trying to get my master's in creative writing. So I just started a new class. It means that I'm not always going to, I'll still try to stream when I'm able, but like, some nights I need to do assignments, sometimes I'm just tired because I have been doing assignments. So I'll try, I will commit still to streaming at least once a week. More if I can, at least one gaming one a week, and then if I can, you know, some crochet ones in between where I, you know, crochet and chat and stuff like that, because those ones are just enjoyable for me. But like, probably at least for a little while, the schedule's gonna be a little weird. Also, you know, like I said, a lot of people are going out sick right now, so I've been subbing a lot. It's just been a busy time, and so schedule's gonna be a little weird for now. That's why it's really important you go and, like, you know, subscribe, watch the turn the notification on, all that stuff, so that you can tell whenever I go live and can see the streams. Although if you can't make the streams, you can always check out the YouTube channel, same name, Cozy Gamers. It has the same icon that has like the little dragon in the top corner. There's another channel called Cozy Gamers. That one is not me. I'm the one with the little dragon in the top. That's all you know. It's my icon. It's the same icon as I have on Twitch. But if you want to see any of our past live streams, they're all up there. That's also where I'm uploading all the videos of the Nuzlocke challenge as I do them. and I'm debating putting up my my free-to-play no commentary run I've been doing of Genshin Impact in the background. I might do that at some point. But like, if you ever want to watch any of our past videos or put something on the background, I also have all our videos up like that on YouTube. But yeah, that's what I got for right now. So I think this was a good session. Not sure when I'll be here next. Hopefully next Tuesday, if not next Wednesday. I'll try to be here as often as I can. Because I do enjoy doing this. I do enjoy playing and I do enjoy chatting. It's fun. It's relaxing. Hope everyone is enjoying themselves. Because generally I am. The deaths are probably not as much fun, but in general I am enjoying this run and I do want to keep going with it. So hey, that's all I'm here for, bro. I'm here to be the background audio. That's the way Madeline fell asleep for the majority of her younger years, as I talked until she fell asleep, so I currently just have that soothing effect on people. Thanks for hanging out anyway, Nixie. It's great to see you again. So that's pretty much all I got for now, and I'll see you guys all another night. Thanks for hanging, thanks for watching, thanks for being here, being real cozy.